shit.
What's up, boys?
Yeah,
How you doing?
Yeah.
What's up, Tonio? What a
few days out.
How you feel?
I was actually just napping right now. Not that I'm drained or anything, but peak week is the week you rest as much as you can. So
You're not drained? You feel good?
Oh yeah. I think I'm excited about the look we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see what stage.
So I saw the lineup. So pretty much blessings in there. Let me bring up Blessings picture.
Yeah, I just saw a picture of him on RX Muscle at the Palumbo posted, and I sent a message straight to Palumbo. I'm not going to tell you what I sent to Palumbo, but I sent him a message. I'm like, "What are you guys doing?"
Who's pregnant? What do you mean? Who's what doing, King?
Well, I mean, listen. Let's be realistic here. We're talking Iron OGs here. When the side tricep pose that I just saw looks like it's 5 weeks out to me.
Yeah,
there's no detail. There's no hamstring quad separation. There's no lines in the glutes. Well, what's going on here?
People say he's troll. Some people say he's trolling the picture.
Yeah,
but so that's what some people are saying. Like he's trolling people, but I don't think he is.
Well, when he put these updates up, he said they were 2 weeks old, and then he put those new ones. But I mean, Blessing's an entertainer, right? I mean, he was always that influencer and had that goofy personality. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if those were just old pictures.
You never know. I mean, he got really fat in the off season. He didn't need to get that heavy. I don't think. Maybe in bodybuilding sometimes you got to get that a couple times, but I think a lot of that size was a little bit unnecessary. He got a little bit too overweight. What do you think, King?
I think he should have stuck with his internet stuff. That's what I think. I think he should have stuck with social media. Now, before I say this, let me preface it by saying I like him. I like his personality. I like what he's trying to do with Nick. I like the way he handles himself online and at expos and stuff like that. Yeah, great. That's fantastic. That's great for the sport. It's fun to watch, but it got a little silly towards the end. And if he wants to do this, I mean, like, look at Speed. Look at Sulik. Look at what's that strong kid's name?
Larry Wheels.
They're making a shitload of money arm wrestling, weightlifting. I mean, anything they can to get that money and social media and the clicks and all that stuff. Tonio is a professional bodybuilder, man. This is different. Where he's putting his mark down. You suffered. You got to this point. This is what bothers me right now with the sport. It's stuff like this that bothers me. Trolling. What do you mean trolling?
Yeah, Tonio, where are you at right here? These pictures. How far are you?
Those are recent.
Okay, so yesterday,
those went up. Those were the day those. I did no games, no hiding, which I actually talked about in a video that we our video guys editing, because a lot of people wanted to stay hidden and they were posting what they were looking like when they first announced it, and then when I started putting on my updates, no one started updating anymore. So it's kind of like, all right, let's post.
It's gotta be like.
I don't think it has anything.
Go ahead, King.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with posting what you look like right now. The problem has been editing and photoshopping what you look like right now.
Yeah.
You know, and then people are expecting. I mean, you look at Crizzo, which is another guy I like, you know, and you look at his videos and pictures, and people were saying, "Oh my God, Ronnie Coleman #2." I mean, you gotta, and you sit there and you say to yourself, "Oh, here we go again. Here we go again." You know, so what you posted is this looks like what you look like.
Yeah, that's recent.
Yeah.
Tony, how tall are you again?
About 5'7", 5'8", whatever.
Okay.
One of those. I'll go 5'7".
Are you weighing more this show from your last show, or what's different? I mean, you look different, but what to you is different? What are you bringing in differently?
Oh yeah, so when we were coming into peak week, and we obviously do check-ins, we check our weight as well. I actually started messing with me to where I'm telling Justin, like, yo, something ain't right. That's why I said we're heavy. What do you mean? I said we're too we were 240, 238 going into a peak week. And I was like, when we went into the Cal or Arnold was our better look, I think. When we went into that show, we were 217 going into peak week.
Wow.
Okay, so you put on some size then.
Right. And so we stopped looking at the scale, just in the check-ins. She said we're just gonna go off of looks. Because it was getting to me in a way of like, damn, like, are we gonna be conditioned enough? Because people get big, but that new muscle makes them soft as well. So
what do you feel like you've done differently? Are you feeling like you're more structured in your meals? Are you eating more? Are you pushing the gear a little harder? What's different this year?
So honestly,
this season.
Food, nothing changed with food. Protocol, it's actually been the same as always been. So he never blasted with that. But it was more so focusing on myself and coming to peace with myself and not having to worry about, everybody else. Like, so I was in, relationships before, or, and
we talked about this last week. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a gentle, like I'm a lover. So I always account first for the other person, and
got it.
Put myself last. But now that I didn't have that distraction there anymore, and I was able to focus on just me, it's been completely different.
Oh yeah. So the last shows you were doing, you're just kind of like taking care of your girl first, making sure she's okay, and all that stuff. And you're single now? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so much easier to prep when you're single.
Right.
It really is. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about a girl. I mean, which causes. I mean, King and I were talking about last week. How many times women messes guys' lives, careers. We're talking about bodybuilding, obviously. So bodybuilding and life stuff. And King talked about it. I've spoken about it. Like,
shit, I was dating a girl. I was dating a girl for my first Olympia prep that when my pictures were in the magazines, she would yell at me. So I had to hide the magazine so she couldn't see me in the magazine. That's how bad it got. So it was crazy. Why aren't I in the magazines? Why are you in the magazines? Oh my fuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, bro. It's
yeah.
Some of these girls are crazy.
You did the smart thing. Tony, let me ask you this. All right. So I got to bring this up so you can knock it out of the park right now before all these trolls start talking shit. When we posted the picture that you're going to be on Iron OGs tonight, I started getting messages and direct messages and DMs from everybody saying, yeah, his shoulders are all jimmied up with Synthol. He went crazy with the Synthol. Okay. Here we got the guy right here. Let's hear from the horse's mouth. Is there Synthol in your shoulders?
Personally, I've never ever touched Synthol before.
Okay,
even held the bottle.
Say that one more time, a little bit louder, so everybody understands.
Never touched Synthol before. Never even held a bottle of it. Okay. It's one of those things, bro, where I think when I did New York in 24, I actually had a bad injection, and I think that's where people started, saying things. But then if you look at my son from the pictures I've posted with him, look at his shoulder development as a freshman. That's him not lifting weights. He already has it. You look at my uncles, they all have it already. That upper shoulder, that's just something that runs in our family, our genetics. But I actually don't hit shoulders. So I'll hit chest and then I'll touch shoulders. I'll do front raises, lateral raises, rear delts. And I'll do 3 sets of that, and that's all I do for shoulders because of how developed they are already. And I just try to catch up everything else. Because feedback before, like when I first turned pro, was bring up your upper chest to match your front delts.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe from football as well is why shoulders, shoulders, neck, traps are always as big as they are. But, I don't use Synthol.
I mean, Keegan and I had the same issue. Our shoulders were dominant. They just grew. It's kind of common in Persians too, right, King? A lot of Persians.
It is definitely a genetic thing, and I understand what T's saying right now. I train shoulders once a month.
Yeah.
I never train traps. And everybody always says, "Oh, you jimmy up your traps." I said, if I jimmied up my traps, I'd look like Rubio's, uncle right now. I'm walking around like this. But I wanted to get that out of the way. I know, Armon, you probably got the same thing too. He's all jimmied up. So let's put the Synthol thing out of the way.
Yeah,
I saw a video that it was talking. Yeah, I think it was after your quad workout. Someone's like, he shot his quads.
Oh yeah,
they're not showing lines. I'm like, I know I've been to. I was like, when you train quads, you're not going to have separation because your legs full of blood. That's why you don't train quads a week out from the show, so your lines come in. So it is what it is. I've talked to Ivan back and forth, and I'm the one that started telling Ivan a lot of what guys are using, and a lot of guys are using it, and he didn't know. So I think he thinks. And I told him about 90% of guys use it, so I think he thinks everybody uses it now.
Yeah,
there's some guys that, and then a lot of guys. Of course, bodybuilders, you put injections places. You run out of spots, and so you get a bad injection somewhere or this, and people's like, oh, he uses enhanced oil. Do you even shoot your shoulders, or where's your main spots you put your shots at?
So my main spot. So back in 2021, I did Legion Sports Fest, and a few of the older bodybuilders came up to me. It was like, hey, never do your quads. And I was like, what? And he was like, never do your quads. You start to see it where you're doing it at. And ever since then, I never touched quads. So then I started doing shoulders. And then, again, still being new to the sport, I'm like, there's glutes, there's shoulders, and then there's your legs. That's all I knew about.
Who told you not to do quads? Who was
I believe it was Dexter, and I want to say Chris was there, Chris Kamir. And they were saying, don't do your quads or stop doing your quads. And then, so I never touched quads after that again. Then I was doing my delts, and then my coach was telling me about doing lats. He said that's probably one of the better spots to do it, other than glutes. So then it was just those delts and glutes. Yeah. Then, bro, it got to the point to where I hate pinning, so it started being insulin syringes to try to get it down that way.
You doing like sub Q a lot? You like those?
No. I was like, none of it feels better than the other.
Yeah. When you do it sub Q, I tell guys, like, that's okay if you're doing TRT doses and stuff like that. But if you're competing and when you get lean, you're going to see bumps everywhere. A lot of times you see guys and you see those like the dots all over their stomach. And that's when they're doing sub Q a lot of injections. But when your body fat gets so low. So with all the injection and stuff, I'm not against shooting your quads at all. But there's a lot of guys that are. I know Dave Plumbo's like, don't shoot your quads. When I was with Hani was all about shooting your quads. He's like, yeah, shoot all up and down your quads for your shots.
All the Middle Eastern guys shoot the fuck out of their quads, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have nerves. We have nerves everywhere, and the thing is, I don't think it's a certain place you hit. I just think, how old are you, Tonio?
33.
Okay, so as you get older, just the body just gets wear and tear. I mean. Let's say you shoot your biceps and you shoot them for a couple years, they're going to be fine. But when you're shooting an area for 10, 15, whatever years, it's going to start having some wear and tear, some nerve issues, some damage, some scar tissue just from hitting the same spots over and over. I think that's where we see a lot of the lat stuff. A lot of the bodybuilders, their lats start rising. I think that has to do with age. And then, lats. I always shot my lats because it's like soft tissue area, but a lot of people are saying, oh, if you shoot your lats, it's going to. We have nerves everywhere, all throughout our body. Right. So it's kind of like where do you shoot? You get, then you don't want those horns on your glutes, and so it's you run out of spots, and then you don't want to do a bunch of orals because those are even harsher on your body. So it gets exhausting, and then once you get to a certain point, like King and I, like injection. it's hard to even do TRT injections. Just like I don't even want to do that shot. Like it sucks.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if I forget in the morning, I'm just like, oh well, I'll just do it next time.
Yeah. So,
Tony, let me ask you this. So you're 2 days out, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the process right now? What are you doing? Are you loading? Are you carb loading? Have you switched over to fibers, carbs yet? Are you doing asparagus? What are you doing right now?
So right now, so really he didn't change much from what we've already were doing, but because without any water manipulation, so my water was still 6 liters a day until today. We just dropped it to 4. But he upped my carbs a little bit. I get 70 grams of cream of rice in the morning, 200 grams of rice each meal now. And then my post-workout, I get another 70 grams of cream of rice, which today was my last workout day. My fats are up. That's really what went up even higher, was just fats. So any other prep, I didn't do red meat. It was chicken and rice.
Right.
And then this prep, I was just like, yo, whatever we have to do, let's do it. If I have to eat fish, let's eat fish. So I was doing a lot of fish, and then now it's just been chicken and steak. And I think that's what's making that look change to this, more harder look are the fats. Because now I do 5 grams of extra virgin olive oil in each meal.
Yeah. I've always liked fats dieting. King, Chad, y'all didn't use much fats. Y'all did pretty much carbs and protein, right?
Steak. Lots of steak.
So you did fats. Okay, yeah.
I know
some.
Chad preferred flank steak because it was a little fatty, and but the problem with the flank steak was you just got to a point where you're eating so much of it that just the look of it made you want to fucking throw up. Especially because we had the George Foreman grill. Not only did your whole hotel room smell like meat, but you saw it and you just like, oh my God, here we go again. So I thought I was always the one who's like, I can't be a bitch. I got to do it. I went to Ronnie's room just to hang out for a couple minutes. Half of his fucking beef was in the trash can. I'm like, Ronnie. He goes, I ain't know that shit. Fuck that. And I was like, oh my God. So it's not just me. All right. So, yeah, he was a lot. We just couldn't do it. I mean, now there's so many different ways. Like he said, the extra virgin olive oil,
avocados. I like that. I like fats a lot. I think a lot of people diet without fats, and it works for some people, but I think fats are really important. I think they keep you fuller. I think they keep you stronger. I think they're just good for you in your diet. I don't really like just carbs and protein, which a lot of coaches. I think Aceto does that, and I don't think he uses fats much at all. But it's working for you. So who is going into the show? Let's say these pictures of Blessing are not real or not up to date. Who are you looking at? Like, other than, you're on point, you worry about yourself. But of course, when you're going to the show, you're looking at who else is competing with me. And, we pulled up the list. We only knew a few names on there. A lot of the names, I didn't know, exactly who they were. Do you have the list up right now, King? Or I had it up earlier.
I
Tonio,
the list, but there was only 3 names that really popped out to me, man. One thing that I'm surprised at, it would have been a good battle between Tony. It was Sass. If Sass would have done this, it would have been a really good battle.
Yeah, I thought he was coming. I thought he would have came.
Yeah, he's going to do the Toronto, I heard. So, yeah, he's going to do the Canada show. But Tony, listen, you're the number one guy. How does it feel to be the number one guy going into a show? Is it exciting? Does it make you a little bit more nervous? How do you feel?
No, it's exciting, and it's also a good feeling because when I first started in the sport back in 2019, I started with my name being skipped when they talked about athletes, and then after that, every show was, oh, Tonio's going, but so is this person, and Tonio's gonna have a hard time with this person. So, I didn't let it discourage me. It's just, okay, I just need to get back in the gym and go even harder,
right.
And so going into this prep, I told Justin before we even started, hey, if we're not going to come, like if this is the Olympia, there's no point in prepping it. And we just, went hard at it. Once we start putting up our updates and seeing that we were the front runners to go into it, I'm like, there we go. Like, now we're making it. We haven't made it, but we're on our way.
Yeah.
So let's say you win this show. What's your plans after, except for the Olympia? What's your plans? Are you doing anything after the show? Or are you waiting until after the show to kind of see what you're doing, or is it just straight to the Olympia as a goal?
Yeah, I mean, Justin would rather do one and done. I like to compete, so if there's something else that's around, or that we can, do that's not too close to Olympia, I'm down to do it. Even if it's something right after Olympia, I'm down to go.
Yeah, this is great for you because it's in your backyard. You said it's like what, 15, 20 minutes from you.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
It's funny too because when I got into my motorcycle accident, it's right the same spot.
That's crazy. You came out. You still ride your bike? You still ride your bike?
No, so I don't have the bike now. It actually got
Yeah.
totaled because the whole front end, but I have a slingshot right now, which I'm like, this is cool, but I want those two wheels back.
Man, I've never been on a bike myself. I've always been terrified because all my friends used to ride and get like all messed up, send me videos of like showing their bone, like not even tissue. And I'm like, that's just scary. So that obviously that didn't scare you at all. You're just like, I'm cool. I'm still riding when I eventually ride.
Yeah, that was my third time going down on a bike before.
Oh,
so
geez.
now I'm just like even more invincible.
Tony, for your show day protocol, morning of the show, do you do what a lot of people do is load up with like bacon and pancakes and burgers, or you don't do that? What do you do the morning of the show?
No. So our go-to is bacon and rice. We'll put, he'll tell me do like 8 strips of bacon. I'll break it down, put in the rice, put some oil in it, some salt, and about 2 grams of sodium, pink salt, and then that's what I eat. Before it was always, wait, don't I get pancakes and eggs and all this before? But doing it with that type of food compared to fast food, I can see my body holds this fullness with bacon and rice more than it does with pancakes or burgers or anything like that.
Right.
So even like a couple of days ago, I had hit legs, which I didn't upload that video, but I hit legs. It was a great workout, but I was so tired. And I told Justin that, and I felt like he was ready to give me food, but I told him, like, yo, I don't want any fast food. Like, I'm just tired. Like, it's not that I need to go eat a burger or anything like that right now. Just, thug it out. I'll eat the prep food, wherever it's at, which was low, and we'll get through it. So, I mean, I think after seeing the results of how much better real food makes you look, it's like, I don't care about the other shit.
Gotcha.
So you're not doing any protein shakes at all right now, just all real food?
No powders, no pre-workout powder, none of that shit.
Yeah. I think if you can eat the food, your body's always going to look best on real food. I mean, I'm okay. I like the protein shakes, like pre-post, that's fine. But like eating real food is awesome. Some people just can't eat that much, and so they have to incorporate shakes. But you got a lot of people, especially I know, especially Hunter. He was doing like pretty much all shakes, and I think Rice Krispie treats were, I think, like all his meals. And his body just didn't look right. And then as soon as he got his shit out and started, doing, real food and not blending it up and all that kind of mess, his body started looking a lot better. And people don't realize, like, what the difference is. Okay, the shake, okay, you still get your whatever 50, 60, whatever 70 grams of protein, but it's not the same as eating chicken or fish, or it just gives a different look to your body. Your body's going to be fuller. It just has a different look to it.
Right. So I can tell days where I've eaten like red meat before the gym and worked out. I can tell when it's been that, or if it's been, like you said, like a shake with cream of rice or something, mixed into it. So food's definitely better than protein powder.
So has this been your least stressful prep, would you say? Your easiest prep so far?
Easy mentally, yes.
Yeah.
It's been the easiest. But obviously, physically we're gonna put ourselves through it. So definitely, like I see a lot of people say, oh, this is a easy win. I'm like, man, the win might be if that's the case, but the process was not easy.
Right.
Yeah,
and
you
never
know.
know.
Look at a show as an easy
Yeah.
win.
You
never know who's going to show up. You never
Right.
know what's going to happen. You never know what judge is in what mood that day. It's a superficial sport, but yeah, I think this might be your best look ever.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm telling Justin too. Like, we got to come with a conditioning so crazy that you take it out of the judge's hands. You know what I mean? And we don't want to leave any door open for anybody else to slide in. Because like you said, anybody could have showed up, which you didn't know if Nick was going to win New York. What if he popped in, if Regan decided to come back, if Sass decided to come through. So I was just like, be prepared for whoever wants to show up. Martin was still competing. Derek was running around. William Bonac was going around. So I was like, yeah, it's we got to dial in.
So when you're watching all the other guys now, who is your guy? Who are the guys to you that are in the top? A lot of people love, Nick. Nick impressed a lot of people because he came back and he really pushed Derek. A lot of people thought, Derek, should have won that show, which he did. What are your thoughts on the top couple guys right now? I guess it'd be like Nick, Derek, Hadi, Samson. And Martin was really off last show. I mean, he was like way off. He didn't look like himself at all. But who are the guys that you want to eventually stand next to and say, hey, eventually I can, beat these guys?
Honestly, it would be the Nick, Hadi, Derek, and Samson. There's a few times I stood next to Samson at Olympia, but it was just for the back double by, which was comparable, Martin, I've competed against him my first open show, and I beat him, and then he beat me in New York. So it's like Olympia, we get to see who gets that extra point, you know what I mean? But though that top right there is, in my eyes, those are the Olympians.
How do you see Andrew?
I think Andrew, I love his physique. So to start there, I just think he can't bring his conditioning into where he needs it. On his backside. But man, his ab and thigh, his front by his front lat, I don't think anyone's touching that.
Yeah.
You think Bonac is going to come back next year?
I think he'll keep competing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, look how he's been placing, and he's already won a show too this year.
Yeah. Did you see the changes that are happening though? Like I see.
The tricep,
his right tricep, his arms are starting to but people have to understand that's age.
Right.
There's nothing he probably still trains just as hard as he's ever, just as heavy as he ever. It's just age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which I was telling people I was watching it with, because people were pointing it out, and I was just saying the same thing, like, yo, he's been at it for a while.
Your body could just take so much, and it's just gonna age no matter. You could be like a year is even a big deal. Your body could change dramatically in a year. I think once you hit that close to that 40 mark, it's really hard to keep going. That's why Dexter was such an anomaly.
I think one of the biggest examples of that, Armon, was Gustavo. He was doing so well, and he was winning, all that, and then suddenly within 2 years, he just fell apart. Rest in peace. But he fell apart in 2 years.
Well, William tore his tricep, though, I believe, right?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he tore his tricep before. I tore my left tricep, and it sucks. When you tear that tricep and they reattach it, you're still missing like the end part of meat, and it sucks. When you do like any shot, you're missing a lot of meat out of it. I mean, Dorian did, obviously, back in the day. I think a couple others did too, and it makes a big difference. But I mean, when you're comparing William to his old self, yeah, you see the fullness in the arms and all that, but he still looks amazing. And I would say there's no reason for him to stop competing.
Right?
Unless
Hey man, if he's still cashing checks, let him cash those checks.
Right? Oh yeah. I mean,
why not?
when you retire, it's a hard thing to deal with. And I know he had that time a few years ago that he was really struggling. Like people were like, "It's your time. You need to kind of step away." And then he came back with a different. I think he came back with Chad. And he looked really good, and then he started becoming a new and improved guy. But yeah, when you get that age, though, there's nothing you can do about certain body parts when they start, atrophying or whatever. It is what it is. You got nerves, and like I said, your body could just take only so much punishment over the years, and it happens. So, all of it.
T, what do you think of Behrus?
Oh, I wish Behrus can get over here.
He will this year.
Okay, I was like, I wish he can.
He'll be at the Olympia this year. I think he's keeping it quiet, but from the sources that I have, my sources are telling me that he's going to get his visa and he'll be here. He's another one like you. Everybody's like, oh, he's a shoe-in for the Dubai Pro. That I called him up and I was like, bro, don't look at it like that, man. Don't look at anything as a shoe-in, not bodybuilding. Just make sure that he goes, oh, no, I'm bringing my A game. That's all right, cool.
I heard Blessing was doing that show too.
Who?
Blessing?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I heard he was going to Toronto and also Dubai.
Well, Martin was supposed to do Dubai, but he backed out.
Yeah, Beirut.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, I don't know Martin myself personally. I think he's a nice guy, and I've, you know, he's got a great physique and stuff. But I think that they overhyped him a little bit. I really do. I think they overhyped him. I think that he was at the right place at the right time, and then he got rewarded for it. But now, you know, you cannot show up to a pro show like he did. That was 4 weeks out. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised seeing him like that.
Yeah, when he beat Bumstead, that's really put his name on the mark because everybody was watching that show because of Bumstead, and you know, we didn't know who was going to win King. Remember, we were like, we don't know who we're going to give it to, and we were like, they might give it to Chris, and you know, they gave it to Martin. I think that's when his, you know, stock went through the roof and people started looking. They did overhype him a bit. He does have a great physique. I know he's still young. What is he, like 27 or something like that?
Yeah.
You know, so he still has got some good years to really mature his body. But this last show, whatever they did, I'm sure they're going to fix it next time because they tried something and it didn't work. I think they were thinking on like, oh my gosh, I got to come in bigger because who I'm competing against, and that just blew, you know, his whole look. I mean, he was like looked like he was guest posing, but I'm sure they'll fix it up. How's your body doing? Are you healthy? Do you feel good? You got any nagging injuries, or how do you feel?
Oh, no, I feel good. No injuries, no nothing. We're good. I said my range of motion is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because my side tricep was like the worst pose ever, right?
What'd you do to fix it?
Working on that, huh?
What'd you do to fix it? You start doing more therapy or massage therapy, or what'd you do?
Body work, and then you know that person I was going to body work for was sending me videos of how to work on my range of motion, and you know just get the shoulder mobility moving, because that's what it was. I thought my chest maybe was just tight, or damn, maybe my back is fucking too big. I don't know, but then we started doing all that work, and I started, you know, doing the stretching and the mobility work, and I'm like, yo, my arm does go back there.
Tonio, do you think that that's the evolution of bodybuilding now? That you have to take care of yourself, meaning the deep tissue and the cryotherapy and all that stuff? Because I think the world pretty much found out that when Derrick Henry said, I spend $200,000 a year on my body and staying healthy, with the massages and the lasers and stuff, people are like 200,000. He goes, yeah, bodybuilders are starting to do that. Because Jay was like that, right? Mm-hmm. He was psychotic about his massages and his therapies and blah, blah, blah. And I think now people are just starting to realize if you want to stay healthy, you got to do that stuff. You can't just keep turning your body inside out every day in the gym and expect to keep going. You can't. It's not possible.
Oh, yeah. A lot of guys are spending money on like the fat lasering too. I remember I was talking to Phil Heath, and Rami was doing the laser fat removal. Like, you know, they have all these different lasers that, you know, removes fat. Like, I forgot one of the machines. We actually had to put a lawsuit against them because they were using my pictures to promote all their stuff. I had one of my friends. He's in the med spa stuff. And he got a picture of mine, and my abs are weird. I have that big split in between them, like I've had it since I was young. I didn't get it throughout the years or anything. And they were doing a seminar on Disdirect, I believe what it's called, and they used my picture, my face, saying like, yeah, this is what you know, what happens, what can happen, and this laser will fix it and all that. And then my friend contacted me. I was like, I didn't authorize y'all to use that, but yeah, there's all kinds of lasers, especially, you know, King and I talked about these wellness girls, how much they spend on, you know, they're filling their butts up, they're doing stuff to their legs. I got bikini girlfriends that they're shooting Botox in their obliques, so it atrophies, their waist shrinks. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they're doing some crazy stuff now. You know, these plastic surgeons, a lot, especially the women they're going to, and like the Botox, like my friend, she competes that was doing the Botox at her waist. It did help, like, because her waist was a little thicker, because obviously Botox, paralyzes it, so the muscle's not flexing. It did help her waist get smaller, but when do you draw the line when it's kind of a little too far? I mean, of course, we got side enhancement oil. Everybody's talked about before. You know, I used in the past, other people's used in the past, and but it's like, when is it too much? You know, are the lasers too much? is shooting Botox in your things too much? Is like, what draws the line to y'all? King and Tonio, what do y'all think?
I feel like it's probably things you shouldn't do until you have to do it if you're competing, type of thing. That muscle's not growing anymore. You're not getting anything out of it. Then, SEO. The waist thing that they use, your waist is blowing up and it's just hurting you. Okay, then now it's time to add it. But that sounds crazy. Paralyzing your muscle to make your waist smaller.
Yeah, it is crazy. There's a couple well-known plastic surgeons around that works a lot of the people they do it. And it's expensive too. It's not cheap, but I think that's I don't know, that's a little much. But I guess, hey, it's in the end, a lot of people don't like to call bodybuilding a sport. You can call it whatever you want, but it's beauty pageant, whatever you want to call it in the end. But the work to get there, people don't realize, even the general public still, even people in fitness, they still don't realize the hard work and the suffering that goes into it. I mean, Keegan and I get clients all the time. Oh yeah, I want to do a show, and they get started, and they have no clue, like, how hard it is to live that life and look like that. And eventually, everybody wants to look like it, but they don't want to put in the work. You haven't been competing really for that many years, right?
No, I started in 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Well, I turned pro 2019. I started 2018.
Yeah, I know we had you on before, but how did you get into it again?
So I came back from football, out of injuries, and met someone in the gym who told me I should compete. I was like, nah, I'm not wearing, underwear on stage. And all my friends were doing it. So then it's like, damn, I'm hanging around with nothing but bodybuilders. Still don't know what this is. Then I went to a nutrition shop, and he was like, if you compete, I'll sponsor you. So then I was just like, all right, let's do it. And he didn't write me a diet or anything. He was just like, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. Well, I ended up working for this dude at his store. And he comes in and he goes, what are you doing? Eating lunch. He goes, is this what you've been eating? And I'm like, yeah. This dude just in and out. So every day, because we worked right across the street from In and Out, that's what I eat every day for lunch. And he was just like, well, if it works, keep doing it, We did mother load. Scared. Like, if I had my stage shots, bro, and you see what I look like, you'll be like I seen a ghost in the crowd, But I ended up winning that show and winning overall. And then that's when I was just like, oh, I love this. And it just continued on from there.
So you were what, 20? How old were you? 25, 26, 25?
Yeah,
when you did
something like that, yeah.
So you're a little later, yeah.
That's a great story.
So you'll have a longer career. I mean, I think, I know King, King and I started in our teen years. I think, don't you agree, King, when you start, all the teenage guys, they kind of burn out a little faster just because you started that young age.
Yes. Now because they just hammer everything and the trend twins and this and that and all that nonsense. I didn't, when I was a teenager, I did Deca.
Yeah.
3 shots of Deca leading up to the show. I don't know what I was eating corn pops, just like Tonio said. The morning of the show, I had skim milk and corn pops. I don't know what the hell, but I'm winning. So it was the evolution. But listen, back then, Chris Cormier, teen national champion. Dennis Newman, teen national champion. King Kamali, collegiate national champion. Branch Warren, teen national champion. Yeah, it was different, man, because we didn't burn ourselves out. We're using food, genetics, and lifting weights to get to a certain point and go. I was talking to somebody just the other day, and we were talking about my protocols and my cycles. He couldn't believe me. I was like, why don't you believe me? He goes, that's not possible. What do you mean the most amount of tests you've ever done is 1,200 milligrams? I'm like, I said, for me, it was always 750. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's it. That's all I took. 250. No, man, no. I'm like, so right now, when I hear what's going on, it's a shot a day of everything. That is crazy to me, to take test every day, trend every day, Anavar every day, EQ every day, NPP every day, take a shot, 1 cc of everything every day. That seems to be the protocol now.
Nah,
it distorts the physique, and that's why I think there's a lot of like when they get big too fast, it distorts the physique. I mean, the guys, I talked to my friend the other day. I used to prep him, and I told him I can't prep him anymore if we're going to be friends, because I tell this dude 1,000 times, like, you can't do this for all these different reasons, and he don't want to hear it. But I mean, this guy's doing beyond pro level cycles for novice shows, and I'm like, dude, this is you haven't even won an overall show. You did one novice show with me. You won that, and then you're going like you're taking pro level. So this is what the pros take, and more and beyond. And you're getting ready for a local show. Then he's sending me like blood pressure, his cuff, and all that. Like I'm 290 pounds. I'm like 290 pounds. Your last show, you were 205 on stage.
Oh shit!
You're gonna have to lose like 60 or 70 pounds. And people, he doesn't understand, like, this is fat and water. You didn't gain much muscle in between that time. And so
right.
A lot of these guys, it's just very hard for them to listen. A lot of times, a lot of people, I know Blessing's working with the boss of Outlaw Stefan too. Everybody rushed over to him and like he's some special wizard. And now, we called it King, he's going to start. You can't prep that many people. You're going to mess up all the time.
Well, he's not doing too well in the past couple shows.
No.
And then now this is show number 3. If Blessing doesn't do well, that's strike 3, brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so he's got to be careful too. Quick question for you too. Are you loading up with insulin now that you're carving up, or no? You're not.
No, nah. Okay. We touched insulin, but he pulled that like, oh man, like I think when we started cutting. It was gone. We did keep HGHing. That pulled out probably 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Wow.
Probably about 2 weeks.
Why'd you? Oh, so pretty early then, huh?
Yeah. So probably about 2 weeks ago, we pulled HGH. What else? Orals. That didn't come in until now. Saturday we started orals. No Anavar at all. He pulled that.
Why?
I don't know. I know. We were, my weight wasn't changing. My physique was changing, but weight wasn't changing. And then when we pulled the VAR, it started to go down a little bit. And then it just never put it back in. So then it was just 50 milligrams of Winstrol. And then now it's 40 grams Halo twice a day going into the show for orals, yeah. And then, of course, you have your vitamin C and multi-minerals and magnesium and all that.
When did you start the Halos?
I want to say it was Monday or Tuesday.
Just 1 week out?
So just 1 week?
We started, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
2 weeks works a lot better.
Because like Nick had hit me up and asked me what my protocol was. And so I sent it to him. He was like, yeah, see, I knew it, less is more. So I don't think Nick takes a lot of stuff either for him to say that. Because like you said, the 750, I think that's the highest we got on test too, ever actually. Was a 750.
Well, we had Cormier on last week, and he's like, yeah, one time in his life, he jacked everything up, doubled everything. He looked like shit. He said, I felt like shit. I looked like shit. No, I'm never doing that again. So it's so hard to get it into these kids' heads. They don't believe you, especially the kids, the people in the, from my experience, from Middle East. They think that we have some secret formula, that we're not telling everybody, but and I'm like, no, you guys are doing twice what we're doing. I don't know what you're thinking of, because anybody who went to Oxygen and did that whole anabolic chicken thing, I heard the stories. I heard from several guys who went there, you got 6 syringes lined up in the morning. They're not telling them what it is. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, hell no.
I personally would never do that.
Never.
Fucking nuts.
You don't even know what you're taking. They're just doing your shots for you. Like, man, shit, I want to know what these are. What is this stuff? I don't think they were too worried about health, but what's really got it on control?
They see Rolly, and the way in that magic mirror, and they see, even Victor. Victor's not shy. Victor's crazy when it comes to certain things. And even he was like, nah, bro, this is too much, bro. It's like, yeah. So
they didn't really know anything. They just, they had certain coaches. They flew over there and kind of learned from what we were doing over here, and then just kind of like I think doubled or tripled everything. Like that works better, and they're not doing anything. They weren't doing anything, and that's why not many people go out there anymore, because people thought it was something special they were doing out there, and it was like, no, you can't do anything else. You eat, sleep, and train.
Yeah, and I like what Tonio said at the beginning. Yeah. Steak and chicken. He went back to what works. There's a reason why Paul Dillette, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Dorian Yates, the guys of the 90s look like that, because they were eating steak and chicken. And that's what I got all my athletes on right now. Steak and fucking chicken. It works, people.
That's the secret right there.
Yeah, there's too many protein, too much protein powders and all that. It's just a more flatter look. It's not, the muscles don't stay as full, but some people can't eat that, and I understand. I mean, when your digestive system gets to a certain point, like I remember after a certain age, I couldn't eat a certain amount of food anymore, so I had to incorporate a lot of shakes. But the amount of GH is what really has got out of hand. Guys starting out with, instead of 2 IUs, goes a long way, and you can move up to maybe 3 and then 4 IUs. They're starting off at just 10 IUs a day, and 20 IUs a day, and these guys aren't even competitive bodybuilders. They're just
I heard
YouTubers.
Through the grapevine. I heard from a little mouse. A little mouse told me that Hadi and Hani had that problem. They had a really bad issue because they fought a lot about that, because Hani kept telling Hadi that you don't need to take that much GH, and Hadi's like, no, I know what works for me, and I know for a fact, because I talk to a lot of the guys in Iran, they go up to 30 IUs a day.
Oh,
30.
shit. Wow.
I mean, for me, it's like when I took Humatrope, which was the best ever. When you took 10 IUs, your hands went nuts. I remember so upset. I was like, I'm pissed off, and I kept doing this. It's like, no, it was the worst feeling in the world. The carpal tunnel was the worst. What do you mean 30 IUs? What kind of garbage are these people taking? I don't get it.
Yeah, I was like, because we were doing 3 IUs twice a day, and my hands started getting like super stiff and tight. So I'd have to really stop and like just rub them out and massage them. The wrists, like all that shit would feel weird. So
it's annoying. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah,
I think like 8 to 10 at a high level is nothing more than that. There's no need to do more than that. I mean I remember I did for years. Palumbo had me doing 2 to 3 IUs. For years doing that, and that worked. And then I met Hani, and he had me bump it up to like 6, or he got to 8, and then I couldn't grip a dumbbell. I kept dropping. I was like, dude, I can't pick up the dumbbells. He goes, okay, we'll drop that back down to 6 for a while. And then I eventually went back up to 8. But I don't know. It's like the GH is bunk, or it's underdosed, or just taking that much, they get used to it or whatever. But
I think it's garbage.
We see the side effects. We see the side effects, though. Their faces and stuff change. A lot of them change pretty dramatically. So I think a lot of these guys are using real GH, and I know some of them are. They're getting the real deal. Like the guy I was talking about earlier, that I had to tell him I couldn't coach anymore, but he had taken a lot of GH, and he's had every single he's had like 10 coaches, and he's with Chad now, and Chad is probably just send him in a plan just to send it to him, and he's not listening. He's probably doubling everything. I know he is, but his girlfriend told me he's doubling everything. So
Tonio, let me ask you a fun question. Let's get to the fun stuff. What are you? Are you a sugar guy, or are you a sweets guy? Excuse me, a salt guy or a sweets guy after the show? What are you hitting first? Pizza or cake?
You know what? I was just talking about this. I want French toast.
He's a sugar guy. Hey, man, listen, you lose your mind when you're fucking dieting, man. I know. I used to melt Snickers bars and dip rice cakes into them and eat them like that just because I was losing my fucking mind. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty good. I want to melt Snickers bars and dip my rice cakes in them. Yeah, you lose your mind. But so you're a sugar guy, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. French toast sounds good.
Sounds good. What's your ultimate goal in bodybuilding?
Honestly, I want to obviously go back to Olympia. Win Olympia. I want to win an Arnold. I want to go overseas and compete. That's really the best thing about bodybuilding, is being able to travel all around and be able to meet new people and compete against different athletes. Like you brought up Beirut earlier, like, it'd be dope to stand on stage with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so ultimate goal would be that, and to be able to get something out of bodybuilding. Like right now, I opened up a nutrition store inside my friend's gym, so we have it together. But now it's time to see what else I can build on top of that. So
I know you wanted to do a gym. You wanted to do a gym eventually, right?
Exactly. So that would be the next goal I end up doing. So,
what shows are you picking? Do you have a sponsor that's telling you what shows to do, or you do it with your coach, or you kind of, I know, some sponsors don't want you to do certain shows, or they do want you to do. How are you picking your shows right now? Who's helping you with that?
This show was picked because they moved it up earlier in the year. And I'm trying to think what show were we planning. I think we were planning to do Cal again. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. And then they said they were moving Legion up. And then that's when we're like, well, if that's just going to be here, let's have a longer off season then. And then, we'll just jump in Legion, which is our backyard. So that's why we picked this show. But like I said, I like to compete. So if I can find something that's even overseas or, Brazil again, like I thought Brazil was dope, I would go back. I know there's a show at the end of the year in New Mexico or in Mexico. I was like, oh, fuck, I'll go to Mexico. Like, why not? So I don't know. Like my options are open with it. So
you seem pretty like happy-go-lucky. Is that your norm? Because you have kiddos, right?
Yeah.
How many kids you have again?
So I got 2 boys.
I got 2 boys, and they're a little grown, right? You have young?
About to be sophomores. Yeah.
Okay.
Sophomores in high school.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. One
awesome.
of them boxes, and which he just won the silver gloves.
Okay.
So he's killing it right now, and then his brother plays football, and he cuts hair already, so he makes his own money by cutting his.
Tell me that's not the best feeling in the world. My son, my son's about to start high school and already being recruited by Bergen Catholic and Don Bosco, and they want him back because he's a badass, man. He's already 6'1", he's 200 pounds. He's beast. He's deadlifting 400. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, and I look at him like, Johnny, where did this come from? He goes, well, look at you, Dad. Come on. It's all right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah. And now they have like the NIL deals too. So I'm like, the school he's going to now is they just went to 5A. And I told him, I said, dude, how you show out, you can start blending these NIL deals as well. So
nice. A lot of great opportunities. Mm-hmm. What's the most impressive lift you've seen in the gym? Armon, King, Tonio, I've seen a guy bench 4 or 5 or 10. That's not very impressive for me.
I've done 4 or 5 on the incline for 15.
That's what we used to train. That's what we used to train with. But I don't know. I was never that strong. King, you were pretty strong. Tony, are you pretty strong in the gym, or you train smart? Like, are you still do stupid stuff here and there just for fun?
I wouldn't recommend my way of training to anybody, because I keep the same rep range, but we're gonna add weight. So that video where I'm doing a hack squat, I had 7 plates on there, and we're gonna push for 20, 25 reps. We're gonna go
nice
type of training. Which I wouldn't just tell someone to go for that much volume with that much weight. Yeah. But crazy, I don't know. I don't think coming from us is like, well, what's crazy,
Shit,
maybe a Ronnie Coleman type.
He's asking what's the most impressive thing we've ever seen. My answer is easy. Gold's Gym, Ric Flair's Gold's Gym in Charlotte, North Carolina. I saw Animal of the Road Warriors curling 225 for reps.
Oh, shit.
For reps. I've never seen. It was like easy 225, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing here? Animal from the Road Warriors. Rest in peace. He was a beast. Real. What do you call that? Lumberjack strength. That's just not weightlifting strength. That's just lumberjack strength.
Like Brock Lesnar. Have y'all seen Brock Lesnar's daughter?
No.
Yeah, she's the beast.
Dude, look it up. It's like Brock Lesnar with the wig on. Like, no joke.
Breaking all types of records and shot.
Yeah,
really.
It's like he made it with himself. There was no mom. It looks exactly like him.
That's funny.
Mine's Ronnie Coleman. Obviously, I walked into Metroflex when I was 15 to train. I grew up in Arlington, and I saw Ronnie Coleman and Gus and Ulysses all training together. And I was like, what is that? So that was the norm that I looked at when I was coming up in bodybuilding. And I knew I can never be anything, whatever that is. But, and then there was Branch and Johnny. And then I never attempted to even train like those guys. I knew I would get hurt. Those guys were just from another planet. But I would say Ronnie doing his, front squats with the, all the plates loaded up. Going out and doing, lunges with 2-3 plates on each side. Just Ronnie's training was just nuts. Branch and Johnny trained heavy, but they're a little, the rep range and all that. Ronnie, just trained. Ronnie's training was, good. We all seen the videos, but he just pushed and talking about talking about size and injuries, I remember, before I got really hurt, I was like, I was training heavy. I was doing like squats, everything, like 6 plates for my last set, like 20 reps and all that, until I got injured and I lost a lot of muscle. And then when I tried to come back, that's when I was like weak. Like everything was weak. Once you lose that muscle and get off all the gear, that's when your stuff starts really, really hurting. So I always tell people, like, just, try not to get injured. Try not to, something that's going to put you out for a long time, because it's really hard to come back after you, have to get your shoulder repaired, pec tear, or something like that. A lot of people have a
Tony,
really hard time.
I got a question for Tonio. Tonio, have you noticed, being a strength guy, because Armon was right. I was very strong, and I used to always like to go heavy. Have you noticed that when you incorporate negatives now, that's more bodybuilding? Have you put 2 and 2 together about that?
Yeah.
I mean, a good example is Nick Walker. When you watch Nick, I'm sure he trains heavy once in a while, but everything that I've seen from Nick is slow negatives, and then coming up even slow. That's the Milos Sarcev type of, you got to search for the pain. That's what Milos calls it, search for the pain. What do you think about that?
I agree with it. The time under tension, right?
Yeah.
So even like you were talking about Ronnie Coleman and his reps, 3/4 rep range. You keep that tension on that muscle more, instead of coming to a full lockout, like when you're doing the hack squat, it's actually taking a break, to get back into it. So if you keep that muscle going and keeping that weight there, you're definitely going to grow more. And that was the biggest thing I changed with my leg workouts.
Nice.
Did you start doing heavier weights and bring down the volume?
Yeah, so because I used to do the 20-25 rep range, but then Justin was like, let's go 12 to 14, which I was able to get heavier and move a lot slower too, and that's when my legs just started to fucking grow.
Right.
Who's your biggest threat on stage? Not necessarily like maybe at this show, but like what is your, like, let's say you go to Olympia, who are some guys realistically this year you think you can really beat and get ahead of? And want to, of course you obviously want to win and all that. Everybody wants to win, but who do you think you can, realistically beat, and who you have a good shot to kind of say, hey, this guy, he's been doing well, but I know I can, possibly get in front of this guy or this couple guys or whoever?
Honestly, I think the only ones that I know, like, I really just need more work with is Derek, Hadi, Nick, Sepson. Anybody outside of that, I'm not. And I'm not trying to sound like cocky or anything like that. I just feel like their wow factor is something you have to, have that mature muscle for, and build a lot more muscle for.
Right.
Because Nick is fucking huge. Like,
yeah,
stage shots, on a computer or whatever, does no justice. You see him in person and he flares out, it's like, goddamn. Same thing with Derek. He's short, but as soon as he opens up his damn lats, it's just like, that's unfair. You're 5 foot with width of someone who's 6 foot. So and how dense Hadi is, and
which leads us to the best question to ask now. Who do you got winning the Olympia this year? If everybody's in not peak condition but great condition,
I think Derek. That's a good one. If not Samson again, because he's improving also. I don't think Derek gets it back. Honestly, I think Nick was so close to being Derek, so I think it'll be between those two.
What about Hadi?
Oh shit! Damn, how don't forget? I think Hadi comes on. I think he beats all of them. I think
even from the back. See, that's the part. See, this is the great thing about the Olympia this year. See, I feel your pain right now because you're thinking to yourself, okay, this guy, yeah, but this guy, because Hadi from the side looks small, right? From the front, he kills. All his front shots, front double bicep, front lat spread, most muscular, ab shot. Those are 4 shots that Hadi can crush. Samson, just perfection. Beauty, size, muscle, shape, waistline, sweeps, everything. Then you got Nick. Mutation. He's when he just stands there, he looks like a block of muscle. You're like, what is this? But then when he poses, he pops out.
Right.
And one of the most important things that I think Nick did was he beat Derek in the back double bicep shot in the last show. I didn't think that was possible, but he did.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think
that
the
was
only thing that
crazy.
hurt Nick is his front lat spread.
Yeah, it's no good. And his side tricep, he can't pull his tricep back either. He has to work on that too.
It's gonna be interesting, Olympia.
Yeah, I think that's what hold him back is those two posers.
Does Tonio believe today's bodybuilders don't have the drive and training work and the mindset in like King's era?
It's definitely different. I feel like if you look at, the bodybuilding back then, the intensity was 10 times different. Nowadays it's more like, move slow with perfect form, and you don't want to, injure this and throw your back out. So you have to, and then how they change the angles instead of sitting on the row machine, they sit behind it and take a knee. And yeah, I'm too lazy for that shit. I'm gonna use it the way that it's built.
Yeah,
I got a great story for Tonio. This will actually give him some fire. He will light some fire under him. I was 2 weeks out from the Nationals, the year 1999, and I was fucking done. I was dead, starving. And then the Miss Olympia that year was in Atlantic City. So I called Chad up. I said, Chad, man, I'm fucked up. He goes, I'll be in Atlantic City. Vicky's competing. Ronnie will be there. You can come up there and, so you're close, right? You're Virginia. I'm like, yeah, it's only like a couple hours away. So I was like, fuck, man, but I don't want to 2 weeks out. Anyway, long story short, I hopped in a car and went there. Tony, when I got there, I saw Chad, and he goes, why don't you go to the, why don't you go to the gym here in the hotel and then come back up and we'll talk. I walk down there, and as I'm walking down the hall, I'm wondering, what's Chad talking about? I hear this. Dum, 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 and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I peeked in there, Ronnie with his fucking red NPC, everything red with the red boots on, and he is doing his cardio for the Olympia, sweating everything. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm complaining, what the fuck am I? I turned right back around, got in my car, went home, and then I crushed it at the Nationals. That is the way. I mean, that's what how I saw, and with all these legends and stuff like that, man. There was no joke, no games. You do what you have to do. The sound, I'll never forget that sound, man. Dum, 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 dum. 290 pounds just walking on that treadmill, profusely sweating, and just like nodding his head to the music like this, man. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Locked in, yeah.
He was locked in.
See, it's just
this guy wants to know. Yeah, who's your coach? He wants to know who's your coach. Justin?
Yeah, Justin Jacoby.
Justin Jacoby, okay. King, where would you place in today's Olympia?
Wow. If I was not married, okay, if I didn't have my ex-wife, and then I would have done very well. I that's why my heart goes out to people who I'm the last person on earth you want to talk to if you're trying to get married. I'm completely against it. I think it's the absolute stupidest thing you can do in your life and all that stuff. I honestly, I would never, ever, ever say anything like, man, I would have done this. No, I had a lot of fun. I checked off a lot of things off my bucket list, but I didn't show the absolute best version of King because I was doing this. My marriage was fucked up, and it was destroying me. If I would have stayed in Virginia, it would have been different. But hey, I got 2 kids out of it, man. And that means more to me than anything else in the world.
Yeah. The relationship stuff is, it's like Tonio said, last season, and the difference of just worrying about you is just such a big difference. And having especially you said you're a people pleaser, like especially with women and all that, trying to make sure they're okay and all that. It takes away a lot from yourself, especially. But let's not kid ourselves. I mean, bodybuilding is really selfish. I mean, the more selfish you can be about yourself while you're doing everything, the better you're going to be, and the better, the better you're going to do.
Right.
Yeah,
you got to be a monk. You really got to be a monk.
What do you do to relax? You smoke? You smoke weed? Or what do you do?
No, it's funny. So I remember when I just got into weightlifting, this guy we had lifted with, me and Buddy, He goes, we have these chocolates. I want you to try them. He goes, because I tried it and it, you know, it really did me in, but I might have been overreacting. So I'm like, all right, you know. He gives me this piece of chocolate, I eat it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go home before anything happens. Get home and this edible fucked me up. Like, I felt like I was sinking in the couch. I couldn't move, couldn't stop laughing. I kept touching like my legs, and everything felt wet. You know, I'm like, yo, that's like the worst thing ever, right? And then it woke me up when my oldest son had called, and he's trying to talk to me on the phone, and I can't stop laughing. To where he asked me, like, what's wrong? So I said, hey, put your mom on the phone. So he puts her on the phone. I'm telling her, like, hey, I can't talk to him right now. Like, I got to go. So we get off the phone. I went outside. I ended up, like, throwing up. And after that, I've never touched an edible again.
Good for you, man.
Don't smoke. Drinking, I don't do that either. Like, yeah, I was just like, It was one of those things where I'm like, damn, if he called me in this moment because he needed me, I would have failed. So after I was like, I'll never put myself in a state where I can't react.
Yeah, nice. I don't like edibles. Edibles are different than just smoking. That's just
that body's different.
We've talked to, me and King talked about it before. All the rec stuff, that ruins a lot of careers. A lot of guys are really good, and they add in the rec stuff, and especially I talk about it with all the Kratom stuff now, and the guys, they're passing out at shows and goodie bags, and we got a lot of competitors now that are hooked on the extracts too. The extracts are equivalent. They're actually stronger than morphine and hydrocodone. People don't know that. They attach stronger to the opiate receptors in the brain, and a lot of the competitors today are on it. And I had a couple guys message me the other day. The guy was like, man, because I was talking to RX about it, and he said, man, this whatever always cuts you off when you're talking about something good. And I was like, that's why, King and I do this show. But I think a lot of these guys are hooked on it today, and they don't know they're hooked, or they don't want to, realize they're hooked. And I think that's something we're going to see in the next few years in bodybuilding. It's just like the new Bane, but I think it's stronger than new Bane. And a lot of these guys need to be really careful. If you want to take it a couple times a week, great. If you're taking it every day, all throughout the day, you're addicted. And when you try to come off, it constipates you, so it's going to mess with your eating, and then eventually it's going to mess with you, especially when you're trying to dial in. I mean, for a show, right. And you're all the opiates.
I think Tonio will be. He'll be in my alley. I like Corona and seafood with crawfish, man. That's what I like.
I'll just talk about the use of beer.
yeah. You get some beer and some crawfish, some Louisiana fucking shit, and now I'm good.
Yeah, that gumbo you can never go wrong with.
Woo! Love that shit.
He would crack the top 3 and win at least 2 Arnolds, considering the line of competitors. It's not as deep in the 90s.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have to say that, but thank you.
At least she was beautiful. We talked about we talked about girls' looks the other way. What were we saying, Keeg, about? It don't matter what a girl looks like. Everybody. Looks are nothing. You got to if you're going after a woman, that's got to be your best friend. Looks, you get tired of a girl, that don't matter. If they have a shitty personality, I could care less.
Right.
A lot of guys go for that and like, I want the most beautiful girl ever. And then the most beautiful girl ever always the most messed up girls ever.
100%.
Yeah. The strong edibles, those are people with a tolerance. Like I usually have high tolerances and stuff, but I don't even like the edibles at all.
Yeah, I definitely went wrong with it. Because you're supposed to break it. So it was like a rectangle shape. And it had like 4 pieces going through the a line going through it. You're supposed to break that in half, and then you break it in half again, and then you eat that. I ate the whole damn thing. Mm-hmm. So I definitely.
We've all made that mistake, I think.
Yeah. Wait, shit, you think he's giving it to me? He'll tell me, "Hey, just break this little piece off first." He's just, here you go. So I ate it.
What's your opinion on protein powder versus protein powder that's grass-fed, also collagen?
I'm going with
that's you, Armon. That's your department.
I like Dave's protein, the Isolyze, and then I like because I don't like flavored stuff much anymore. I like the Isopure powder, just like no flavor at all. It's not grass-fed. That's the one I like. It's not grass-fed. The collagen, you're not getting the same. It's not the same as like whey protein. So the collagen is more for your skin, hair, and nails, and all that. what would Tonio like to see change or implement in today's shows?
Oh man, with the shows, well, I mean, we can always use more, prize winning, but it's going up, so I'm okay with that. It's more than what it was before, so it's moving in the right direction. I mean, I think that's pretty much really the only problem. Well, backdrops.
Yeah,
there you go.
Backdrops.
Good answer. Good
we'll
answer.
see what they do with Olympia, because remember he was like so adamant, like, we're not doing it. I don't care who says anything. And eventually he backtracked. He was like, well, maybe we'll consider it.
Right.
You heard him say that. You guys heard him say that, right?
Yeah, I seen the post where he said if they want black, give them black.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, at least while the
bodybuilders and put the sponsors around the edges and stuff, and then once prejudging's done, okay, put the shit right back on again. I mean, it's not that difficult, guys. What prejudging is? What 30 minutes at max?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah. At least for the guys, because the women you could do all that jazz and stuff, but the men you really got to look at it. It really affects, especially the lightings back in the day. Like I remember the Ironman and all that. That light was like the best. What did you consider Ironman the best lighting and stage back in the day? King?
The absolute top-notch best lighting ever.
Yeah. Michael
Nevyud was the god of lights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is what it is. So, what? Besides that, Tonio, any sponsors, any new sponsors from last time, or anything changed?
So, honestly, I haven't been sponsor looking. I had a few people reach out, but it was just one of those things where I know what I'm worth, and I'm not gonna, like, a new athlete just jumps on anything. They're excited. It's like, okay, this is cool. Let's do it. And I learned my lesson with that. So now, like, probably four companies have reached out. There is one company, Enhance, that I'm talking to, and the conversations we've had, the way it sounds is like he's going to meet, whatever number we throw out there, and I'll end up going that route if I like their supplements. Though that's the biggest thing, because it's hard to promote shit you don't like. So they actually sent some, so I'll be getting that first, and then I'll be able to, let them know how I feel about it.
Yeah. A lot of the guys, it's if they all got together, and that's a huge problem, the contracts. A lot of guys, as soon as they get thrown something, they take it right away. And I'm like, you don't understand. You can negotiate with them and tell them, no, I want this much. And hey, if they don't do it, they don't do it. Eventually, if you know your worth and you know you're going to get better and keep getting better, don't just take anything. Just, go without a sponsor. It might suck. You're going to have to work harder and whatever. That's fine. But too many people jump all these contracts that they're worth a lot more than that. Those days of the $100,000, $200,000 contracts for bodybuilders, those days are long gone.
Right.
So, you got to have a clothing sponsor, a supplement sponsor, apparel, all these different little sponsors to kind of all add up together to take.
Shout out to Muscle Tech. You guys took care of me. Love you. Now that you said 100,000, 200,000, brings back memories, man. Big shout out to Muscle Tech, the best company I ever worked for, by far.
Yeah, I heard that's a good sponsor lane.
Well, the thing about Muscle Tech was they matched your prize winnings. God. So if you won $200,000 at a show, they will give you another $200,000.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, that was Muscle Tech. That's why Jay and Ronnie, they loved. That's why Jay loved Muscle Tech, because they used to match his prize winnings. So they were a great company. Muscle Tech was first class. They even took care of the national guys. I was with them, and I went from Diamond Ties to them, which I should have stuck with Diamond Ties at the time, just because I was their only athlete. But they took care of the national guys too, and then when you stepped up, they would take care of you more and more and more. Tonio versus Keon, both y'all crazy. Yeah, we haven't even mentioned Keon. Who said the other day? Jay, I think Jay said he's like the next next Ronnie Coleman. What do you guys think about? Yeah. I don't think there'll ever be a next Ronnie Coleman. I'm gonna reply to Jay with using one of Ronnie Coleman's famous quotes. I think Jay Cutler's smoking crack. That's my response.
Hey,
Jay, man, come on, Jay. Please. Listen, come on. Stop. As good and as beautiful, as incredible as Keon is, and I'm the first person to be on the line to say he's amazing. Put Keon next to somebody as thick as Nick Walker. Dude, it's still bodybuilding. It's still body. If Jim Mannion was sitting here right now, you know what he would say? He'd say, it's still bodybuilding, muscle. You gotta have the muscle. That's exactly what he would say. it's still muscularity. Muscularity means how much muscle you have. So please stop.
I think he's made a lot of crazy progress, because I remember he couldn't get his head right. So once he got his head right, he was able to make that progress. But we talked about it before, King. You can't just keep making those kind of big jumps. You make kind of maybe one, maybe two, and then that kind of like that's it. And you kind of maintain that and try not to get worse. People don't understand. It doesn't work that way. You just
Ronnie Coleman
getting better and better and better. Yeah.
Nasser El Somebody, one jump. Dorian Yates, one jump. Derek, one jump. Okay, you know what I'm saying? There's Dennis Wolf, one jump.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's that one jump, and then you got there, then you're going to be like chasing that jump again, and it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right. Now, is he incredible? Is Keon fantastic? I would love to see Tonio and Keon go at it. I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's like we only got to stand on stage one time, which was 212 Olympia in 21.
He's a little shorter than you, right?
Oh yeah, isn't him and Sean Cleary like the same height?
No, they're not the same height. But they both used to train at Destination. I would say Clarita is like 5'2". Keon is about, I would say, 5'6".
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he's about,
about
5'6".
When I seen him in Vegas, I was taller than him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much taller I was to Keon.
Yeah, maybe 5'6". I don't know. Shoes matter. Some of those shoes, make you 2 inches taller or whatever, like Air Forces and all that.
Anytime you wear Jordans.
Yeah. So Burton reminds me of Orville Burke. Mr. Kamali shares antidote with Orville. Would he be kindly sharing that? I'm not sure what the question is. King?
I don't even understand the question. Orville Burke was completely different from Tony.
They don't have similar physiques at all.
They're not similar physiques at all, man. Orville was Orville. Not to mention Orville was as black as Wesley Snipes. It was like purple. Level black. Yeah. I loved Orville, man. I was there when he injured himself and
tore his tricep.
Yeah, I was there holding his fucking elbow in place while the ambulance came. I was fucked up. That's a whole different story. Let's not even talk about that.
Did Ed Connors really have double-sided mirrors at his house?
Come on, don't answer that. Don't answer that.
No, Ed Connors. A lot of my friends went to stay with Ed Connors. My friend Chris July went out there, and he said, and then Ed invited me out there, but I was very close to my family in Dallas. I knew I could never live out in California and be happy. I'd go out there 2 weeks at a time for photo shoots for like reps and muscle night, but I would come back. But I know he was very strict with the rules, like no girls inside the house. You had to make your bed every day. I mean, it was very strict. And I was like, dude, I can't. I mean, I have to have girls in the house. I've been hanging out with girls, but and I know. I think Chris Jalali said all the doors off the bathrooms were taken off, something weird like that. Wow. But two-sided mirrors, I have no clue. But he helped a lot of guys in bodybuilding. He helped a lot of guys get. He helped John Cena get some wrestling stuff. He helped a lot of guys over, and eventually we all knew he was, gay back in the day, but he eventually came out when he was like 70. He was like, hey, I'm gay. Like, yeah, everybody knew that, but he helped a lot of guys over the years. So you guys ever drink the C4 pre-workout cans? Hard as hell? No. No. I don't like any of those.
I'm a pre-workout guy like that. Yeah.
You couldn't pay me enough to drink that shit. That's poison.
No, that's just poison. It's garbage for you. Tonio, you taking any peptides like BPC, TB, any of that stuff?
No.
Have you ever?
No. The only thing that, like, other than like the gear or whatever, is just the HGH, but never like BPC or anything like that. I read about it, just because there's people who ask about it and selling it in the store or whatever. So I, do my research on it and everything, but.
They're overhyped. They're overhyped. Like, BBC and TB, they're good. Like for minor injuries, like you got some tendonitis, they really do help. But all these other peptides, like for youth, longevity, all these GH releasing peptides, there's no point. If you got real GH, there's no point to take any of those peptides. So what people got to understand is, if somebody's promoted it nonstop, they're usually selling it or they have a coupon code. And I understand that's your people's hustle. People's got to make money. I totally understand that. But peptides, in my opinion, they're totally overrated. Except the ones I do like, the healing ones; those do actually work. But all those GH releasing peptides, There's a bunch of different ones. You know, take real GH. You don't need all that stuff. Orbital tricep incident is what I was talking about. Oh,
yeah. It's bad injury.
Yeah, very bad injury. I think, did he have a heart attack too, King?
No, I think he had a bad reaction to being being knocked what we call it, sedated. You know, when he went under for
anesthesia.
Surgery, yeah, to the anesthesia. I think he had a bad reaction to the anesthesia, but the injury by itself, it's, you know, there's certain things that you never forget. I'll never forget the sound of his tricep tendon snapping, because I heard a snap from across the gym, and I was the next guy to do a photo shoot. He was doing a photo shoot with Dennis James, but there was a machine in front of us, and I couldn't see what's happening. So I looked over at her. She stopped walking and looked at me. She goes, "I think your friend got hurt." I'm like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah." So I jumped off, and I see the photographer and the assistant walking away with his hands on his head like this. Dennis was walking in circles. I ran around, and all I saw was blood squirting out of Orville's head, and his elbow was over here, literally over here. He was dangling, and he was like this. And I grabbed him. I said, "Don't look at it. Just don't." All I kept remember saying to him was, "Don't look at it. Just don't look at it." He put a towel on his head, towel on his elbow, called 911. And all I remember, I'm getting goosebumps. He kept saying, King Kamali, call my wife. Just call my wife. King Kamali, call my wife. I'm like, okay, we're going to call your wife. And that was it.
Yeah, tricep ruptures.
What he was doing he was doing tricep dumbbells that like this.
Yeah.
And then his elbow snapped, and then the dumbbell fell on his head.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Triceps, like when I ruptured mine, I was on Levaquin, which is the antibiotic that no one should ever take. As a part of fluoroquinolones like Cipro and Levaquin. I tore my chest and I tore my tricep when I was on those two. I both surgically repaired. Those are awful. They weaken your tendons dramatically and all that. But biceps, when you tear biceps, those you could come back from, and that surgery is pretty good. The tricep one, you when you tear it in that tendon and snap, it takes the end of the muscle out too. So when you come back, you have a messed up arm. You got to be like at least an inch or two smaller. So, Tonio, favorite binge food?
French
toast. He said it.
French toast.
I'm down with that, man.
We talked about that earlier. Riding your bike. You said not now, but probably later, right?
Oh yeah, it'll be back.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I think we held him long enough, man. And man's 2 days out.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I didn't know he was a good sport for coming on, because I was like, hey,
you're the man, Tonio.
Oh man, anytime. Love you guys.
Yeah, you look great, man. You look great. I mean, I think this shows yours, and then you've made a lot of improvements. Like I saw your pictures, like wow, that he did make some improvements. So man, just sit there, your shoulders you look great, man. So props.
Bring the thunder, man. Bring the thunder Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Show the world something.
I got you.
Yeah. All right, Tonio. Appreciate it, brother, for coming on, and we'll have you on again soon.
Got you. See you guys.
All right. Take care, bro.
Take care. Peace.
Later.